Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. It is April the 15th, tax day. Or the birthday of my son.
Oh, yay!
Yay! So we're very happy for that.
So
tax day? Not so much.
there's always a silver lining.
There's always a silver lining. Silver lining, yes. It is also the 12th anniversary. 10th. It was 2013. So it's the 11th anniversary of the Boston bombing.
And also, what year was it? Notre Dame fire.
Yes.
I have that in my memories also.
All kinds of crazy stuff today. But anyway, we got a great show for you guys. Some of you might be moaning and groaning about taxes. Some of you may have filed an extension. Some of you may have all kinds of other news for us. So we'd love to hear from you guys. But we have all kinds of ad reads we got to do. And we got to do some announcements for you. And then I have an entire desk full of stuff and what I thought would be a very slow show. But Amanda wouldn't stop talking as we were in production. Apparently she missed adult conversation today.
Something like that. Is that what this is?
The kids got to her. Well, I wouldn't say it's really adult conversation.
I wasn't allowed to talk today. We'll get into it. Do your editing.
Now I know why you're so talkative. All right, Solomon Services. They're the premier place for personal training here in St. Augustine. All of their coaches are certified through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. They have a fantastic facility with both indoor and outdoor turf areas. They can help you train for any sport that you want to. If you just want to get in better shape, they can do that as well. If you've been injured and you're trying to recover from that, they can help you do that. Whatever your fitness goals are, Solomon Services is there for you. They cater just to your uniqueness, but they put you in classes with a whole bunch of really fun people. Give them a call, 904-461-9945. I've been going there for 13 years.
So notwithstanding, there are other fun people.
There are other fun people
and
notwithstanding
also Mike Davis. South State Bank. The team at South State Bank is a group of bankers you can count on. Their approach to building long-term relationships with their customers is the best in the business. If you are looking for a banking relationship you can depend on, check out South State Bank. They've got 3 locations to serve you in St. Augustine, State Road 312, State Road 16, and at the beach. Or you can visit their website, southstatebank.com. They are a member FDIC. Now, A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing, they've got you covered. They offer free estimates and have been serving St. Johns County for over 20 years in the construction industry. They offer painted metal roofs for saltwater area homes with warranties for up to 25 years. They also offer shingle roofs with warranties for up to 50 years. They install tile roofing, cedar shake shingles, designer roofing, and flat roof coverings. Yeah, you want to say
Home run. Knocked it out of the park. Well done.
Recent job photos with material descriptions can be seen at A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing.com. Check out Chet McCone's team at A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing. They got you covered.
And Land Title of America, whether you realize it or not, when you refinance the sale or purchase of a home, there's a title company involved. Don't get stuck with some out-of-town title company who doesn't give a crap when you're faced with challenges. Stay local. Choose Land Title of America. Just text or call Stephen Collins, 904-501-4481. He specializes in all types of real estate transactions. Land Title, your local title company, ensuring America's land one title at a time.
Because give a crap.
Yes, they do. They're awesome. They're amazing. They're wonderful. Bobby, I see you're watching. Let us know how the Surf Quest was.
Yeah. Tell us in the comments.
I had to be in Tampa. I have my wife's father-in-law celebrating his 85th birthday tomorrow.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it was awesome. We went out to dinner. It was super fun. Dinner and lunch with them on Saturday. It was really, really good.
Very cool.
Very amazing. Okay, also, we have announcements. The second annual Grand Luau at the Mark Lance Armory on May 11th for Task Force Hydro 1.
Yes.
And their stoking Saturdays is this Saturday in Jacksonville at Hannah Park, parking lot 3 and 4, led by Jeff Taylor, an Army vet. So if you're up in that area and you want to go
Purple Heart recipient
surfing, learn how to surf, hang out with some veterans who surf, who understand what you're going through, that's the place to go. And also Derby Day, charity gala hosted by the Marsh Creek Women's Association is Saturday, May the 4th. You can get in touch with them to find out all the details. Where is a number here? You can text them at 203-232-5735. And then the Alligator Farm.
Yep. It's coming up.
Yep. The Alligator Farm, April 20th, which is this weekend. Camp Croc Wildflower Garden at the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yep.
So make sure if you want to go to that, you can do that as well. You can get in touch with the Alligator Farm.
You got to register online. So one of the big things that they're going to be doing at this event is if you have low-lying areas that you struggle landscaping, they're going to show you how to do that sustainably with native plants. So there's lots of good stuff at this event. Register online. It'll be fun.
All right. And according to Jackie Hurd, it's tax day. We knew that. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
But it is also World Art Day, which we did not know.
Ooh.
Someone who's not an artiste like myself, it's nice to know when people celebrate art because I'm not very good at it.
April is Poetry Month. I know that.
Is April Poetry Month?
We have a mutual friend. He announces it.
I thought April was also, is it April or May that's Menorcan Month? One of them is Menorcan Heritage Month.
Maybe turn the page and see if Jackie has it on May.
I don't know. One of them is Menorcan Heritage Month. All right, you're very chipper today.
I am.
Usually,
I wasn't allowed to talk.
You're tired, worn out, beat down from the grind of teaching the youths of America.
Yes, Mondays.
But today, you did something different.
So Mondays are Community Day, and I'm usually leading discussions in 6 subjects with 13 and 14-year-olds, and it's a lot. By the time I get here, I'm like, do I really have to talk again? But
to
today,
a 13-year-old?
But today I wasn't allowed to talk because they were in mock trial competition. So once the coin is tossed and the sides are chosen, I'm not allowed to speak to them again until both rounds of competition are complete. And that is hard. That is so hard.
So you're saying it's hard for a woman not to say something?
In this instance, it was. Yes. Because, you've been working on this our entire spring semester. So from January, I've been guiding them through this mock trial process and helping them to think about it from 2 different perspectives, because they have to build a case for prosecution. They have to build a case for defense, which is hard for kids that age because they look at a story and they pick a good guy and a bad guy. So it's hard for them to have to put themselves in the defense shoes and defend someone that they've already decided from the prosecution side is the bad guy, right? So that's a big thing that they have to work through and really establish their own strategy and how they're going to defend this, that, and the other, what evidence they're going to bring in. And so I'm sitting there in the cheap seats, right? Because I have to hand over the reins to my volunteers and they run the day. I have to set everything up and they run the day. And the kids run the courtroom. And there are objections that are missed. And I'm like, oh, I want to say something. Or, they get objected against and then, can't quite come up with their argument for why the objection should be overruled. And then you get the moments where they do have the perfect argument and the objection does get overruled or their objection gets sustained, and it's fantastic. So each of my kids had at least one standout moment today that was such a huge confidence boost for them. They each have something that they can work on. We've got another competition in a couple of weeks, so we're really excited about it.
And you had some stellar volunteers. Who were those volunteers today?
So I had Kirsten Swigert. She has been in my position, my level for years and years. She's now in upper high school levels. Fantastic lady. She's former attorney. Before she was a homeschool mom, I had a student who's statewide competitive mock trial student, senior in high school. I had a retired attorney, Alex Wilson, a mutual friend of ours.
Alex, great man.
He's a great dude, great guy.
Good Christian guy.
It's the second time that he's come to our mock trial, and he really seems to enjoy it. He gives great feedback. But I also had Judge Tinlin came, and he was fantastic as well. It was the first time I got to meet him. He was great with the kids. He gave great feedback. So it was just a great day. Great group of volunteers that helped make it happen. We had an administrator, Tracy. She did a fantastic job. The team we competed against, a lot of those kids do work in teen court, and so they have trial experience. But we kept them on their heels. We didn't win the day, but we didn't go down without a fight. And we definitely rattled their cage a little bit here or there. So it was a good day.
Yeah. Now, Judge Tinlin, Susan, you are correct. As always, a phenomenal judge of character is Susan Johnson.
Yes.
You raised a character, and you're a great judge of character.
Two go hand in hand.
But
he was looking rather dandy today.
He is a sharp dresser, and he is I hate to say this, he is a very good-looking man.
Yes.
He is. I don't say that often about many men, but he's a very good-looking man.
It was a very turquoise day on the 904 today.
Yep. Very in shape guy. Surfs all the time still to this day. But yeah, I've known Judge Tinlin for a long time. I think I met him all the way back like in 8th grade.
Yeah.
That's how long. I was not in front of the court. He was not a judge back then.
He was a very humble man. He did not want to come on the show with me today.
Yep. I tried to get him on. Bobby, thank you for letting us know SurfQuest was great.
Yay.
Yes.
He wants to thank Rotary for their contributions to the new boards and Life Vest. That's great. Rotarians, they're doing good things.
Rotary rocks. Yeah. Rotary rocks. So, yeah, that's awesome. That is
Elizabeth
fantastic.
did great. She stood up in her first 5 rides. That's fantastic, Bobby.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm glad that was a great day.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, my goodness. No, that's awesome. So you had fun at trial. The kids learned some stuff. Mm-hmm. You had to be quiet all day.
I had to be quiet.
Can I get a camera on that next year? And we can like play selective clips of it of you being quiet.
Dude, I was sweating. Because, like, it's not my case, but so I have to host one mock trial, which was today, and then the next one will be the visitors for. So I don't have to do everything for that one to make it happen. I just have to show up with my team, and then we compete. So that'll be a little easier. But I had a wild weekend. I was sick as a dog, and I had done all this prep work and prepped my Friday to be my last big work day to do my final preparations for mock trial. And instead, I woke up on Friday and was devastatingly sick, sicker than I've been in forever. What Libby had at the funeral, I got a week later. And it was bad. 10 pounds lost in a weekend. It was bad.
Amanda's weight loss program will be online later this day. It's going to be the 904 weight loss program. Just watch us.
Lick the doorknobs in my house before I have a chance to Lysol. You'll lose 10 pounds in a weekend. It was great. So yeah, I had to rush around on Sunday because that was the first day I was able to hold a thought in my head for longer than 5 seconds. Is bad.
You look much better.
Thanks.
You look amazing.
Spent the entire weekend in bed, save Sunday. It's bad.
No, those are bad weekends until you get on the scale and you go, okay, that wasn't that bad. I can put up with that. If you're sick and you gain weight, that's the worst thing.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yes. That was last summer for me.
Why don't I ever say that about extremely sexy Davey Hartzell? I did say that last week. I said something about whispering in his ear. So
actually, he said the men were very attractive today, very well dressed.
But she wants me to say that about Davey.
Davey specifically, not just the men in general.
Yes, Davey specifically.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Blake was doing today, but that computer was screaming at me when I walked in. So Blake Blevins, be nice to my computer.
Be nice to the computer. Yeah, we'll see what Davey's wearing tomorrow. Maybe he'll be dapper. Maybe he'll be turquoise. Maybe he won't.
He was turquoise today.
Davey was there today? Davey was on the morning show today.
Yeah. I
had work today.
Yes.
I kind of missed the morning show some mornings.
I got to catch the afternoon show because I didn't have class. So I was in the car driving from Green Cove Springs.
I do watch on the days that I harass the heck out of them.
Yeah.
The next morning I'll watch.
Of course.
Just
to see. Just to see if they mention your name.
Yes,
They mentioned the famous Mike Lewis today on the afternoon show.
Mike Lewis is a guy that's got one heck of a show, and I hope to catch his following someday. That guy is good.
Bobby asked if Louie is the only one that is untouched so far. But so I was the one, the primary with Libby when she was at her worst last week. And then Gavin was a few days later. And so Louis would have, if it was the same pattern, he would have fallen sick yesterday. But so far, he's holding out. So keep prayers that no one else in my family gets.
Do you eat a lot of spicy food?
I love spicy food.
Do you eat a lot of spicy food?
Yes.
See, because generally people that eat spicy food supposedly have less stomach problems.
Yeah.
And the way I look at that is there's enough hot stuff down there to kill whatever goes down there. If some germ goes down there, it's like, oh my God, daddle sauce. Boom, boom, done, right? But if you don't eat spicy food, supposedly you're more susceptible to stomach bugs.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
I ate a lot of buffalo last week. I don't know if that holds.
Buffalo?
Like buffalo sauce.
Oh, I thought
like
you meant like
buffalo, the
bison.
animal. No.
I thought you were like bison,
Like
a bison
buffalo
burger or
wings.
something, but no. All right, so we had a debate in school, in middle school. And that's where I learned you had to be on both sides of things, right? So you're right. When you're younger, you pick a side and you just worry about arguing that
They're
side.
the white hats and the black hats.
But I had one friend who was a tormentor of me as a young man.
Yeah.
Because everything was black and white with me. And this guy would come in and just argue with me for the sake of arguing with me. I literally thought he would go in every day and go, well, today I'm going to drive Mike Davis crazy by saying this. And then he would defend it all day long. So I learned that tactic from him. Have used it numerous times in my life, probably more times than I care to admit, and some of it for good and some of it for bad. But it was a lot of it was a great teaching moment of trying to learn how do you think how the other side is. And that's the reason people would ask me, well, why do you watch all these other news sources years ago? I'm like, well, because I want to see what the other side has to say. Now most of it's unwatchable on both sides. Yeah. So I can't do either or. It's I get dumber the second I watch it. So and Andy, I was at the diner midweek last week for lunch, which breakfast was great, and I got there Sunday. Lunch was awesome. Got there late after church on Sunday, and it was good. So really, really good. Staff is always good. Always happy when Andy's not there. Did I say out loud? I'm sorry to me. Said Andy's one of our sponsors. I know.
So rude.
They're very, very happy even when Andy is there. But no, they were the Anastasia Diner is always great food. So Darcy and I do a lot of our board meetings.
Yeah.
No phones allowed. Walk in, we sit and we talk. Sometimes we wrestle through some issues, but without the distractions and lots of
Board
good coffee.
meetings, what you call date nights?
No, that's it. Date night is date night. Board meeting is when we sit and talk about we got structural stuff we got to figure out in the next few weeks.
All right.
What's our schedule? What are we going to do? We have a big item that we've not made a decision on, and we'll just sit there and talk about this.
Right on.
So lots of fun.
Oh, speaking of our sponsors, I actually drove past Land Title's location and realized it was them. I didn't know where they were located. I just knew how to call them because of the read. But yeah, I was going to the ATM and realized Land Title's in the Ameris building. And I was like, hey, they give a crap.
They do give a crap. They're right there. How many people drive by and go, that's a company that gives a crap?
Right? It should be on the door.
Speaking of crap, do you know what this is the anniversary of?
Tax day.
4 years ago. Do you know what we were doing right now?
No.
Hoarding toilet paper. People were afraid we were going to run out of toilet paper.
Yes.
4 years later, we can't afford
I blame
the stuff.
Australia.
I don't blame Australia. People had lost their mind over a whole number of
started
things.
That was where the run on toilet paper started. And because there were news reports about how the toilet paper shelves were bare in Australia, people are like, wait, that's a thing? And they started hoarding it everywhere.
We were leaving.
I blame you, Australia.
We were in Houston a couple weeks before they shut everything down, visiting family. And they had signs on the toilet paper back in the beginning of March, limiting the number of rolls of toilet paper that you could buy at one time.
I was so happy when Costco removed those signs.
Well, and then the other is when I came back from Costa Rica a couple days after they had shut down the country, because our trip was over we left and everything was open, and we came back and everything was shut down. One of the guys got on the flight from Houston to Jacksonville with a 24-pack of toilet paper. That was his carry-on. I was like, is it that bad?
It's wild times.
Oh my God, it's that bad. We have to carry toilet paper on the planes now. They're not even giving you toilet paper on the planes.
He's getting high with his own supply.
Oh gosh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, those good, joyous, stupid times that we lived through just a few years ago.
It's wild.
Just stupid. I know that if you got one of these, would probably break your computer, but I got 7 of them over the weekend and today.
Oh, yeah?
emails from the Joe Biden campaign. I've somehow am on an email. I believe Troy
You're a
cost
man of a
this.
certain age.
I believe Troy cost this. But they call me Davis in the emails. It's like they mixed up my names and
They
like,
did.
and I'm called, it's like, Davis, what are you doing? And I always, when I read it, it's like, I feel like Joe Biden is yelling at me. Davis, what are you doing? You need to be giving money to me. And it's like, I'm always
It's like an angry coach.
Stop yelling at me. I'm just reading your email. And then Kamala sent me one. I was
Barking up the wrong tree there,
oh my
Kamala.
gosh. I got 7 of them about how important it is for me to give $49.12.
Yeah.
And I was like, how about I give you nothing? We call it, I still lost money over the last few years. So
Yes.
yeah, I looked at it, I went, oh no, please say it's not true.
Speaking of the government wasting our money, have you ever heard of a YouTube channel called The Fat Electrician?
I have not heard of the fat electrician.
So I think you would enjoy this guy because he does a lot of history and
I might know one of them, but I haven't watched the YouTube channel.
here in the construction industry, you might. So the Fat Electrician on YouTube is, I guess, an amateur historian, and he's really into military trivia and history. And my husband listens to him, and he'll send me videos every now and again. And he just sent me a video about how our government created caves, large caves where they warehoused cheese because of prohibition.
Why did they warehouse cheese for prohibition?
Unintended consequences, right?
I mean,
So-
I can understand. We have caves all over the world where we have stockpiled military equipment and supplies. Some of which the Russians know and they're going to bomb the living crap out of. And some of which they probably don't know about.
Yeah.
But we have places all over the world where we have stockpiles, including the United States. Because we're like, we got to create these underground bunkers because we're going to get bombed by the Russians during the Cold War. And so those places still exist. They've got all kinds of different things. But cheese, I had not heard of.
Yes. So prohibition gets
Are you
enacted.
sure Walt Disney was not involved in this?
He doesn't tie Walt Disney, but prohibition happens and bars become ice cream shops, and people kind of replace social drinking with social ice cream eating. So the demand for dairy for milk and dairy products goes through the roof, right? So then prohibition gets repealed, and the war effort kind of replaces a bit of us sending all of this food out around the world because of World War I and World War II. That also inflated demand for dairy products. And the government ended up sort of killing the dairy demand when we're no longer buying ridiculous amounts of it, and prohibition ends. So all these dairy farmers are going to go under. The price of dairy is going to crash. So the government's like, well, we'll buy your milk. We'll keep the price inflated. We'll buy your milk. But
And the beginning of farm subsidies.
milk doesn't stay for that long. So they convert it to cheese.
Yeah, but you can't convert it back to milk.
So then they just have blocks and blocks of cheese that they have to store. And so they end up storing it in these underground, these like massive caves, because it's cheaper to refrigerate underground than it is above ground. But it's still ridiculous amounts of money. So Ronald Reagan gets elected president, and he hears how much we're spending per day to refrigerate all of this cheese that we have no plan to do anything with. And so he's like, how about we just drop it in the ocean? But I'm not going to give anybody that idea. So he plants somebody out in an audience during a press conference to suggest the idea. The American people don't love the idea of just tons and tons of cheese getting dropped into the ocean. And so that's where government cheese became
Do you
a
know
thing.
how fat whales would have gotten if they had that much cheese?
Well, exactly.
I know.
Lactose intolerant right
my
whales.
God, it would have been horrible.
It would have been an ecological crisis.
It would have been a disaster.
So that's where government cheese became a thing, and that's when it became such a joke across everything. You know, you're going to live off government cheese, and because Ronald Reagan's like, got to get rid of it. So people just started getting shipped blocks of government cheese.
Yeah.
But it's because of prohibition, the unintended consequence of prohibition, artificially increasing
the government
demand
is very
for milk.
good at unintended consequences.
Oh, yeah.
The intended consequence that they desire rarely happens. The unintended consequence usually happens.
So the Got Milk campaign was designed by government, like the government set up a nonprofit to increase demand on dairy products so that they can buy less of it.
Yep.
And not kill the price of it. So the whole Got Milk campaign was like a government psyop to get people to drink more milk and eat more cheese. And it worked. It increased demand. And it's this iconic ad campaign. But then they worked with all sorts of restaurants and all sorts of, cheesy stuffed crust pizza. That was a partnership with the government to increase demand for cheese.
Yep.
Domino's Pizza was denied Chapter 11. They gave them a whole bunch of money and a ton of cheese to make like super cheesy pizzas to try and stay in business. Like insane things.
So are you a
Check
cheese?
out The Fat Electrician.
Are you a
funny.
cheese person?
I love cheese.
See, I'm not a big.
Cheese doesn't love me, but I love cheese.
I'm not a big on an omelet or something like that. Yeah, but I'm not a big. I had a lot of cheese sandwiches as a kid, and if I don't ever have another cheese sandwich, probably government cheese too. But if I don't have to have another cheese sandwich again, that would be awesome.
Yeah, my husband makes a mean charcuterie board.
So
We'll bring one to dinner next time.
Okay, all right, I got it. But just cheese is like.
We'll take you on a tour of cheese. Which you'll not like, but Darcy will enjoy.
Darcy will enjoy that. I know someone asked me one day, we went to a Thai restaurant. I'm like, so this is the first time I've ever been to one. They're like, how can you never have gone to one? It's really simple. It's not on my dietary. I mean, there's things fish, chicken.
My first Thai restaurant visit was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we flew in and we had to find some place to eat before things closed. And we had one night on Maui before we went to the big island of Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so that was the closest spot. We were starving. And that was the closest spot.
It's just not, there's foods I really like. And some
Thai
stuff I was like,
restaurants, it's noodles.
It was okay. I mean, it was good. The noodles were fine.
Yeah.
I had to look on the menu and find something I thought would be safe.
Yes.
And I found something I thought would be safe. And it was safe.
Picky eaters unite. Yes. Trying to find a safe thing.
Yes.
It's more of identify the things that will eliminate this as an option. That's what I do when I look at a menu.
According to historian, Professor Belvins, it was way before Ronald Reagan in the Depression when they picked up their welfare checks. They were given a block of cheese.
Because after Prohibition, they increased this ridiculous price gouging on milk, and they had all this warehouses of cheese.
Professor Belvins.
But it became a punchline with Ronald Reagan because they wanted to dump it in the ocean.
I don't think you can dump it in the ocean.
Yes.
I don't think you can do that. I do not think so. Okay, we could do Bill Maher. You have an O.J. Simpson conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
We're going to save that story for tomorrow with Davey.
All right.
And then we have the Francis Scott Key Bridge update. Where do you want to go?
Bridge update.
So the FBI has launched a criminal investigation into the crash. It seems as though possibly the ship was not seaworthy. So there is a
shocker. The ship
that lost power and ran into a bridge might not have been seaworthy.
Killing how many people?
6 was the last count that I heard. It might be more.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting theory out that says the black box. I've only seen this in one place. So the black box lost 2 minutes.
Weird.
Of course, the 2 minutes is the 2 minutes that supposedly is the most critical 2 minutes.
Of course. Is it the same manufacturer as the cameras on a certain Jeffrey's prison cell?
Possibly. The other thing is they supposedly dropped an anchor on their port side, which was supposed to make them go left, and they ended up going right. Now, no telling if a dyslexic person was the one that pushed port or starboard. There's no telling, right? Because like I will say all the time, Amanda, you're on my right. And I go, oh no, that's my left.
That is
so
your left.
I'm dyslexic with left and right sometimes.
Yes.
So it is possible that they had the wrong person push the button for dropping the anchor. But it's just, I think we're not done hearing about this story.
Yeah.
I think this story has some legs. It'll be a while till you get.
If they dropped the anchor on the port side, they would have gone left, right?
That is what this theory supposed. But
starboard's right and port's
but when you
left.
look at it, they went right.
So they hit the wrong button.
I don't know if they hit the wrong button. I don't know what anchor they dropped. I'm just telling you. Every once in a while, a story comes through, and I read about it, and I go, "We're not done with that.
Yeah,
we're not done with this one. This story is going to be a while before we get to the end of it."
That depends on what happened in those 2 minutes and whether or not they want us to know what happened in those 2 minutes.
I agree with that
and
as well.
that depends on whether, because something happened in Vegas a while back, and we still don't know nothing about that.
We don't know anything about that either. So yes, whenever those stories happen like that, I go, there's only one person or one group that can be responsible for this.
There's a narrative there that they don't want to happen in the media.
They don't want to let us know. Yep, they don't.
Barbara Jean says that she got a block of government cheese once and it was the best cheese ever. I have heard that from people that have had government cheese, that it is delicious.
It's the best cheese ever.
That's what I've heard.
I'm not a cheese guy.
You're a weirdo.
I'm just not a cheese guy.
You're only cheesy? You're not a cheese guy?
I am a very cheesy guy, but I'm not a cheese guy.
I got the dad jokes today, guys.
Yes, you do. God, it's so nice working with you. It's like summertime Amanda's in here. Not school time Amanda, but summertime Amanda.
I didn't have to talk.
Right, you had an O.J. Simpson conspiracy theory.
So the day he died, I heard a funky conspiracy. So, of course, I had to look it up. So there's a conspiracy that... And I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying it's true. But there's a conspiracy that OJ allowed himself to be tried for the crime knowing that it was his son that actually did it. And so he has a son from his first wife who was an adult. He worked at the restaurant that Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were supposed to eat dinner at that night. And I guess she didn't show up. And so some speculate that he might have gotten really mad about that. He had a criminal past where he had violently attacked a girlfriend with a blade and had almost killed her. And he had also assaulted someone else with a blade in the years leading up to the murders. And he was on probation with attacking his boss with a chicken knife at the time of the murders. And that O.J. Simpson had a history of domestic violence, but he had never used weapons before. But Jason had a history of using weapons, specifically blades, in domestic violence cases. That he had a diagnosed rage disorder, and that he was on medications to try and treat this disorder, that he had private diaries revealing violent thoughts, and that the hat that was found at the crime scene,
How long did it take you to research all of this? How many minutes did you spend?
I went down a rabbit hole.
More or less than an hour?
Less.
59 minutes? 59 seconds?
No. The hat that was found that they said that OJ wore to...
Were his hands smaller than his dad's?
Yes. Hide his identity. The hat had dog hairs on it, and OJ didn't have a dog, but his son did, and his son was pictured in the hat in photographs around the time of the murders. Here's my thing on this.
This has been almost 30 years.
I know.
And someone's just figuring this out now?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I just... And you can't tell if any of this stuff is true or not. Because if you go to websites that are supposed to tell you whether it's true or not true, most of those are so far leaning one way or the other, you're never going to get an accurate answer.
Yeah. I don't know. I just had never heard it before. So I asked Mike if he had heard it. And obviously he hadn't.
I had not. That's a deep dive.
Yeah. It was published 4 years ago.
That's like going down to the Titanic for information.
It was published December 2020. So someone clearly had a lot of time on their hands during COVID.
Well, no, December 2020. And other people obviously had time reading other headlines then, so they never picked up on this story.
Never picked up on it.
Boy, talk about releasing it at the wrong time.
But it's gone kind of viral on TikTok, and I guess it's getting resurged now because of his death. And okay, so was Jason Simpson really the culprit and OJ? So part of the reason why they're saying is that typically a defense for someone that's accused of murder will point the finger at someone else, and they didn't do that. And so maybe they didn't want them to look in the direction of his son. So like they weren't trying to deflect. They were just saying he didn't do it. So yeah, it was a weird rabbit hole. And I was just wondering if you'd heard about it.
I had not heard about it.
You're older and wiser.
I am older and wiser. And somehow of all the theories that are conspiracy minded, I missed that one along the way.
I don't know.
But there's more of them out there. So funnier story, interesting story. A reporter asked KPJ, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House spokesperson, about OJ's death. And she says, well, out of respect for the family, we're not going to talk about that.
What family?
His family. Out of respect for OJ's family, they have asked for, privacy at this time, and we're not going to talk about that. And talked a little bit about, I think he was battling cancer. And I'm like, wait a minute, nothing about the people that died, nothing.
Browns?
So there was a joke on Gutfeld that her staff knew, and they knew she didn't know. So they just were like, they've just asked for privacy in the family, and that's it. He won a Heisman, and he was in those Naked Gun movies. That's the guy they're asking you about. Yeah. Right? Nothing else to see here. And she went out and just basically, we're going to be very respectful of the family. We're concerned about the victims' families, none of those things, just that. I was like, man, that's a whiff. That's a whiff and a half. That was a whiff.
They could have handled that different, but that's, par for the course.
And I don't know who or what has woken up Bill Maher, but Bill Maher has angered the left quite a bit in the last year. Today, there were 3 different Bill Maher. Oh my gosh, is that the same Bill Maher?
So he had a busy weekend?
He had a busy weekend. He was talking about people that are protesting in Dearborn screaming death to America.
Okay.
Americans screaming death to America. And he's like, hey, this is really not the place you want that. America's a great place. I don't want to die. That's just not the right thing to say, was one. 2, he was in an interview with Katie Couric where he said all of this negative talk about Trump supporters is just a turnoff. Yeah. They're Trump supporters. There's a reason they like the guy. Some of them don't like him, but they're going to vote for him anyway because they see him as the only thing between them and the craziness that's on the left. And of course, she had a hard time responding to it because anytime you take her out of her bubble, I think she's about worthless to be able to talk to.
I don't know that she's the brightest bulb.
No. And the thing that makes me mad is that she dropped one huge bombshell on Sarah Palin about, well, what do you read and where do you read? I'd be like, Katie, name the last book you read for me.
Yeah.
Right? Name that. Because Katie Couric would not have been able to name one. You'd have put her...
You first, baby.
I'm like... Seriously, you let yourself get trapped in that.
Yeah.
And then...
she was so focused on trying to give the right answer. She wasn't thinking about...
Then Bill Maher, and you can watch this, it's good. It's worth watching. He does an 8-minute monologue on Canada. And the problems with Canada.
Yeah.
And that if, usually people will point to Canada and go, well, that's socialism or communism that works. It's not working. And he goes through all the things in Canada that aren't working.
Check out the stats on their MAID program.
He goes through a lot of stuff. And it's like, look, if you on the left want things, you don't want the things to end up like Canada. Canada's the worst. You don't want anything like Canada. So it's a very interesting 8 minutes that I thought, wow, there's some research there. There's some thought to it. You articulated it well.
Research. I
understand, but I got to give the man credit when he says the right thing. So I thought it was very interesting that he hit that. But you can look it up, Bill Maher in Canada. So it's about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right on.
It was not bad at all.
Yeah.
All right. It is Monday.
It is Monday.
We have 5 questions.
5 questions.
We
You
have
promised it in the title.
always, since the very epic beginning of this radio show / podcast.
When I was a wee babe.
Yes. Where were you in 2013 when this started?
I was with a newborn. Well, no, I was with a toddler and a preschooler.
All right. So, question number 1 from Amanda, based on the fact that she spent time in a trial today.
Yes.
Have you ever stood trial? Oh, with that kind of laugh, this should be a good story. This might be a 2-hour segment. Go ahead.
Rude. Just because I'm a woman.
And if you and our listeners, if you've stood trial, just say yes or no.
So
Never convicted, Troy. Never convicted.
When I was in college, my college boyfriend and I broke up briefly, and it was right before.
So you could get back together.
We did get back together. We only got back together once. When we broke up the next time, it was full good. So we broke up briefly. It was right before a tattoo appointment that he really wanted me to go with him on. And another friend also wanted to go to this tattoo parlor. I think she got a tattoo. I can't remember. And I was like, fine, I'll go, but I'm not driving. And then those two started bickering over whose car to take. He was a smoker. She wouldn't want to ride in his car because it smelled like cigarette smoke. And he didn't want to ride in her Beetle because he was 6'4". So then it became, we have to take your car because that's the only one we can agree on. So I end up driving. So I'm furious and I'm super tense, horrible situation. I'm just white knuckling it to the tattoo parlor so I can get out of the car because I don't want to be in the car with these two people. I should have just not gone, honestly, but I didn't make that decision and ended up driving like 27 miles over the speed limit on Highway 27 on
Through
Long
a
Island.
school zone?
No.
Thank goodness.
Through Highway 27, and it did go through a construction zone. The police officer pulled me over and he was like, I don't even know how fast you were going when you were at your fastest because I just know how fast I had to go to catch up with you. And it was insane. And I just straight up told him what was going on. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. They promised me I wouldn't have to drive. I'm driving. Now this is happening. It's great. Just give me the ticket. And so he gave me a ticket. Turns out in New York, I went fast enough that it was mandatory courtroom appearance. So that was my one and only time standing in front of a judge. And it was because of boy issues, boy drama and roommate drama. And got it pleaded down. New York and Florida don't have reciprocity for points. So I got no points. I just had to pay a fine and all's well ends well.
So I have never personally, like on a personal item, been there. I've served on a jury. I've been called to jury duty multiple times. Now that I mentioned it, I'll probably have a letter in the mail tomorrow about jury duty again. So I've done all that. We have had 2 cases where one, we were trying to collect money, and 2, we had a sub that thought we owed him money, which we didn't. So I've been to court a couple of times on business stuff, but those have been a while ago. Susan's comment about won the case at the last minute thanks to Pete and Judge Tinlin. Why is it that
I'm imagining a Matlock moment?
No, I'm imagining the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch episode where Mrs. Brady backs into a guy and then he comes into court and he's got this neck brace on.
Yeah.
And they're about to decide against Mrs. Brady. She's going to have to go to jail with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, she is going away for forever for backing into this guy.
Threads is amazing. So is Mark Zuckerberg. I
said Mrs. Brady first. And Mike Brady takes his briefcase and drops it over the railing.
And the guy catches
the guy turns, proving that his neck was not injured, and Mike Brady won the case. So I'm imagining Pete dropped a briefcase to save this. So that's kind of my thought process through the whole thing. But no, that's it. I have not been... I don't really ever want to go. I actually had to testify in a divorce case one time.
Ugh.
For business partners that were breaking up, that were divorcing. And I was like, I don't really want to, I didn't want to be there because it's like, no matter what I said, somebody's going to lose. Susan, it was pretty much like that. Pete comes running in, Your Honor, I've got evidence. Well, you're Pete Melfi, of course. Come up and tell us the evidence. This is going to be a great story.
You have a respectable face and I love you in turquoise.
You do. You look to be really intelligent and super serious. Come on in here.
It's great.
All right. First thing, again, Amanda question because she was sick all weekend. First thing you eat after being sick. So you've got the stomach flu. What's the first thing you eat?
I didn't eat from Thursday night. That was my last meal. So I didn't eat again really until Sunday. So the first thing that I actually wanted to consume was ice cream. ice cream and an ice cold Coca-Cola.
So
Soothing.
Coca-Cola in that instance, I can still drink Coke. I usually don't drink very much Coke anymore, right? Melissa's right. Chicken noodle soup with saltine crackers.
I love chicken noodle soup and saltine crackers, but we did not have it.
And I had that because I had the stomach flu when I was on the last business trip. I got it bad one day. And so I that's it. But I will tell you, if I just have an upset stomach and I'm like, man, I got to get rid of this upset stomach, I go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
I get a couple of hamburgers.
Just
I get some fries.
Load.
I get a Coke. And I'm like, this should take care of everything. This should fix it all. I should feel 100% better here. So yes.
Question: do you put your saltine crackers in the soup, or do you just dip and eat?
It depends how sore my throat is.
Oh, I crumble them up in the soup.
I don't like them too soggy.
Like a chicken noodle mush, and I love it.
I don't like them too soggy.
No one else likes it. No. It's tragic, but I love it.
I don't like it too soggy. That I can't do. All right, number 3. Do you always file your taxes on time? Or are you a Troy Blevins and file an extension?
I am a rule follower at heart. And so 99.9% of the time, we're filing it on or before April 15th. I think COVID was our only year that we filed an extension. And it was even delayed that year because of lockdown. They delayed it and we still filed an extension. We still filed an extension?
For the longest time, I was always on time. But then as the businesses grew and we got more of them, it took a little longer. And sometimes there were things that we really had to work through to make sure they were correct. So there were some cases where we just said, we got to do the extension. COVID really kind of messed up a lot of stuff because there's a lot of extensions during that time period as well. I mean, it just... everyone was nervous about, any kind of contact, including
We've said that so many times today. Threads.
Amazing. We're so late into this show. If they're still listening and checking us now. All right. So along those lines, and I really need some input from you guys out there in the listening world.
In the cyberspace?
Yes. What TV or movie character would you want to file your taxes?
I got my answer.
What is your answer?
My answer is Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory because nothing gets past him.
You want Sheldon.
He is a contract dude.
See, He's
perfect. Because also he'd get all up in his feels if anyone questioned the accuracy of the forms. And he'd defend you for free in court.
So I kind of want a different way.
Yeah.
Right? I kind of want a different way. I want
Gomer Pyle.
I want Sylvester Stallone from Tulsa King.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, because he's this ex-mob character, and I just want to send him in to reason with the IRS.
So you want to get arrested on RICO charges?
No, I just want him to explain why we did what we did and then see what happens.
Yeah?
Everything worked out for him until he went to jail in the last episode. But it was a great. They're coming up with season 2.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
I know. I thought I'll send Sylvester. Who's going to argue with Sylvester Stallone?
If I use Sheldon, he'll probably tell me I owe way more money than I do.
Sheldon is simply going to tell you it's the government. Just write a bigger check.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's why I went with Sylvester Stallone.
Because he benefits from government grants.
I want to know
conspiracy theory.
Anybody else out there has somebody on TV or the movies or this would be a perfect person. The Accountant.
The Accountant.
Ben Affleck played the accountant.
Yeah, but it's Ben Affleck.
It is true, but
have you seen that back tat?
He did take care of everything.
He's a little shady.
Yes.
Tragic back tattoo.
Does he have a back tattoo?
Yes. It's huge and it's tragic. Look it up.
Why?
He doesn't really display it much, so there's only like really grainy paparazzi photos that have been captured on beaches with long distance lenses.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got like a giant phoenix on his back. It's
MacGyver.
Not good work though.
Susan Johnson's MacGyver. I love it. He's not going to file your taxes with a pen and paper.
But he might blow it up.
Yeah,
with
he's
a bottle
going to
cap.
file your taxes with leftover parts from a lawnmower, a cell phone.
Davey wants Leo from Wolf of Wall Street. Why do you boys want to go to jail?
That is a great pick.
I am not.
Phenomenal pick.
I'm a rule follower. I'm not smuggling a file into prison for you.
Oh, that's a good pick. I still like Sylvester Stallone from Tulsa King. If you guys have not watched Tulsa King, it is a good watch.
Melissa says it's a great movie.
Tulsa King's is a really, really good show. I think she was talking about The Accountant as the movie.
Oh, The Accountant.
Yeah. Oh, Davey, there we go. Now we're all going to get audited. Thanks, buddy.
Faux show.
Yeah, way to go.
Taxation is theft.
Yeah.
Something my kids will tell you too.
All right, last question.
All right.
What does this say? Current fact about
your life.
Oh, about your life today.
Today, yep.
That would impress your 5-year-old self.
I want to hear your answer first.
I have lots. One, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. My 5-year-old self would be so impressed by that. 2, I surf because my 5-year-old self would have wanted to be a surfer, and I learned how to surf, and I'm still surfing. And so I think my 5-year-old self would have thought my old self surfing was still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5-year-old was when I decided I wanted to be a dolphin trader. So I did it. So my 5-year-old self would be happy about that. I always knew I wanted to be a mom, but I always thought I'd stop at 2. So probably be impressed that I have 3. Probably be shocked and aghast that I'm homeschooling. Maybe that my husband's as hot as he is because he's a hottie.
I was going to say my 5-year-old self would look at Darcy and go, I did not think I'd do that well. That's pretty awesome. I didn't think I'd do that well.
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking about it going, 5-year-old self would go, I didn't think you were going to marry. You married a really pretty girl. That's awesome.
But we'd have to show them pictures of our spouses when they were also 5 or else they'd just think they're old because 5-year-olds think everyone's old.
My 5-year-old self would go, yeah. All of my friends know that I outpunted my coverage, so yes.
I agree.
So yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of things 5-year-old self would look at and go, yeah, you did some pretty neat stuff. I got to hike the Grand Canyon a long time ago. That was fun. I've been all kinds of other places. So yeah. Yeah,
I've gotten to travel to some really cool places, and I've got to do some really cool things, and I've got to meet some really cool people.
Yes.
So
yeah, your 5-year-old self would be really impressed that you know Davey and Troy and Pete and myself. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Your 5-year-old self would go high five.
Rock her socks. She would.
No,
you're like, who's that dude with the holes in his shirt?
So no, I think that 5-year-old self would say, "Well, I ain't Vegas."
Davey,
it's funny.
Nice.
Yes.
Davey says 5-year-old self would say, "Well, it ain't Vegas, but it sure is a residency." Yeah, baby.
I don't know, Davey. I think you win the lottery when you move to St. Augustine.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't want to live in Vegas.
No, I wouldn't want to live in Vegas. Too many unsolved crimes.
Like, how did Harry, what's his name, manage to hurt himself by working out with resistance bands on a shower? That is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Also, weirdly, his security cameras did not work that day.
I know. I want to know who
it's
has
a weird theme.
Yes. We sell security cameras that work whenever you don't need them.
Yeah, right. We
sell black boxes that work whenever you don't need them.
Yeah. Do you have something you want to prove, or do you have something you don't want proven? We have different packages for you. Yep.
Barbara Jean, because so many things I was told is not a woman's place. Barbara Jean, congratulations for you.
She was the first, correct me if I'm wrong, the first female welder at Northrop Grumman. Is that correct, Barbara Jean?
That's awesome.
Very cool.
I kind of was one of those ones. I got a little bit of a rebellious streak in me. When you tell me you can't do something, I'm like, no, let me just figure out how I can. Just to show that. And I'll give you a story. My mom, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, 8 years old, we had a YMCA basketball league here in town when the Y was still downtown, and they didn't have enough coaches. Not enough men could coach. My dad was busy working, and so my mom said, well, I'll coach. And the Y elders just freaked out that a woman was going to coach
How
this
very
team.
dare you, sir?
So they put a guy with her as like her assistant coach. She never listened to that dude. I don't even think the guy knew what basketball was. I think he was a
I only
soccer
met your
player
mom
or
a few
something.
times, and I can absolutely see her completely disregarding.
Mom was rocking that. I ran into someone that works at a business I'm friends with, and she was talking about her son playing t-ball. It's like, I really want to coach. I was a great softball player, and I want to coach him, but I don't know if they'll let me. I said, go coach.
Yeah,
Go
do
coach.
it.
My mom coached 100 years ago. Go coach. Go do it. You'll have the most fun ever. You'll be the coolest mom out there coaching. Everybody will be happy. Go do it. So I think Barbara Jean, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Anybody that's been told you can't do something and did it, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
Because you just looked at everyone else and went,
Oh, did you see what I just did? Because you made me do that.
what'd you do?
That's that situation.
Oh, like I told you not to put your name up there and you didn't?
You told me to put my name up there, sir.
I did tell you to put your name up there.
Yeah, 2 guys got kicked in the nads because they told me I wouldn't do it.
That's a good reason to do it.
That's it works for good and for evil.
So
I was like, please don't dare me to do this.
talking about things you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I have a nephew who's 3 or 4, and 5, and he has become a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy. And he has been working on the Star-Lord machine. You know, the one where you take your hand and then you crank. And my sister, his mom, will find him in the corner all by himself working on this machine. I get to see him in a couple of weeks. I cannot wait.
Yeah? You going to give him the one finger salute?
I 100% when no one's around. Don't tell your mom. We're 100% doing that. Yes.
Give your sister a
Yes.
hug and do it behind her back?
I am 100%.
If she's watching, I'm sorry.
Oh, she's not watching. None of my siblings really watch anymore, so I can say whatever I want to.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got immunity. They don't watch. So, yeah, so it'll be...
Hi, Davis siblings.
They listen to this crap all the time when we're together. So they're like, no, once or twice a year is fine at holidays.
You're an acquired taste.
Like, we definitely don't want to hear that again. So, yeah, look,
right.
you guys have been awesome. Congratulations. Lots of energy today.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, you really need to bring the energy on Tuesdays. Because the Energizer Bunny shows up on Tuesdays.
Yes. Well, like, we would completely wear you out if we were both Energizer Bunny on
No,
Tuesday.
it'd be fine. It'd be great. It'd be awesome.
We don't want to give you a heart attack.
At my age, that's a good thing, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. My 5-year-old self is thanking you for allowing me to live just a little bit longer. All right, all of you have a great night. Tune into the morning show tomorrow morning. Pete, Davey, Troy.
Let's see what color they all wear tomorrow.
Let's see what they wear tomorrow. I'm going to actually go back and look and see what color they wore today.
I have to check Troy. I was in the mock trial, so I don't know if Troy was wearing turquoise.
I don't think it was turquoise. I bet it was a turquoise hat or a turquoise band on the hat.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was earth tones.
Maybe we could get some turquoise beads.
He's a very earth
braided
tone
into
guy these days.
His beard.
Very earth tones.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, you guys have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow.
Bye, y'all.